What's the best business to start if you're broke as shit and you don't know anything about online business? When you're first starting an online business, it's hard because everybody thinks they know what's best for you. And the difference is I do know what's best for you. And not that I'm like, okay, this is the only way you can do it, but just mathematically, it just makes sense. If you're just starting out, this is not only gonna make you a lot of money, but it's gonna set up the foundations for even more ventures where you can make even more money. So this is what I think you should really start if you're just starting out, you don't know anything. And that is start a client business. And here's why. For a lot of people that are listening to this, hitting 5K a month or hitting 10K a month will be like a dream. They're like, that's a lot of money. And I get it. I used to make $250 a month. That's $3,000 a year. That's how much I used to make, right? My first deal ever was $700. And then the other one was $1,100. But then I closed the 2K or something and I was ecstatic. Like never in my life have I felt like I progressed so fast, right? Because from making zero to get into a certain amount of money, it can change your life. So let's say you wanna get to 5K to 10K a month, that's the goal. There's several ways you can do it. Maybe you could sell an ebook, right? And maybe you can run ads to that thing that you're selling, but if you're seeing this up to this point, maybe you don't have the money to invest in Facebook ads or to pay for retweets so somebody can help you. So then it's like, okay, how do you make money with no money? And how do you get there fast? How do you get to 10K a month fast? And the way you do that, in my opinion, would be a client business, because just one or two clients are gonna change your life. You just get one or two, charge them $2,500, boom. You're making 5K a month. Get 4 of them, boom, you're making 10K a month. And then you can use that detachment, because you already have money, you can use that detachment to make better decisions down the road, to execute faster, to play bigger and better games with bigger and better people. So here's how you do it. It really goes down to 3 things. Number 1 is you gotta learn a high income skill. And there are several of those. If you wanna make good money, learn a high income skill. That could be copywriting, sales, lead gen, media buying, web design. You could also learn email marketing, SEO. Those could actually work to get a client to pay you 2.5K a month, and here's why. Those are high ROI skills, meaning that if I gave a graphic designer, I'm just gonna give a super general example, but if I gave a graphic designer $1, take $1, how much can you make this dollar turn into? They could make that dollar turn into maybe 1 point something, right? Or maybe nothing if their designs don't work and don't sell anything, which is why sometimes graphic designers are not as well paid as copywriters, people who can do lead gen, people who can build websites. Because if I gave someone who knows copywriting or email marketing $1, I know for a fact that if he's good, he could make that $2 or $3, while the other guys could just turn it into 1.1 or $0. Then it makes sense, because those skills that you're learning could multiply it. You don't really need all these fancy things like a logo, freaking like LLC, you don't need like super brand managers or whatever. If you want to start a business, you only need to know how to turn $1 into 2. And that's the first thing you're doing. You're learning a skill that can turn $1 into 2, and those are everything that I mentioned. That's number 1. That's gonna take you like 3 weeks, a month, 2 months of just binging content about it. And you're like, man, I don't want to learn anything for 2 months. Well, I guess you want to be broke, because that's the way to do it. You got to learn a high income skill to get there. Now, the way you choose that high income skill is you first begin on something that kind of drives your attention. For me, it was like kind of copywriting. I like copywriting, but I didn't really really got into it. Then I tried email marketing. I really didn't like it. And then I went to ghostwriting, because I didn't really jump to something like SEO, which was completely different, because once you try one thing, you kind of accept what you liked about it and you kind of move away from the things that you didn't like about it. So let's say you kind of like writing, but you didn't like copy, you didn't like ghost, but email was kind of your thing. You're like, okay, maybe it works. You got to be self-aware to see what you actually like, because the best skill you can learn is the one that you get paid for and you enjoy performing. Now, let's say you get at a B level. You don't need to be like an absolute great at what you do to start getting clients, and that's a big mistake, because you think that someone's not gonna pay you $2,000 to write for them, while there's someone who makes a shittier job than you that's getting paid $4,000. So you gotta get to a level where you're like, okay, I'm confident with it. I think I can do some great stuff. You don't need to be amazing at it, you just need to be decent, because your competition fucking sucks. Now, step number 2 is doing outreach. There's several ways to do outreach: cold email, You can just cold DM people. You can just give them an offer. The way I closed my client was I said, bro, here's 5 tweets for free. You can use them if you want. If you don't like them, don't use them, and I'll pay you $50 if they don't perform well. So you either win or you either win. I've seen other copywriters do something like that. Say, I wrote this sales page for you. Do you want it? And it's just so clearly better than what they currently have because everybody else sucks. They're like, you know what? Yeah, how much is it? 1K. Boom, you got a client, right? Or maybe you could just offer to work for free for someone. You see someone who needs your help because once you understand how your skill works, you can see that a lot of people need it. So you hit up those people that need your help and you're like, okay, you know what? I'll work for you for free. If in 1 month we get better results, maybe we'll discuss me getting paid, right? If not, then that's cool. At least I did some work for you that you can use in the future. See, you either win or you either win. And there's a lot of people that need your business. There's a lot of people that need your skill. You just have to look for them. Just go on forums, just go on Google, just cold email, learn cold email. It's gonna work, right? And number 3 is actually fulfilling the service because there's a lot of people that get ecstatic. They're like, man, I finally got $5,000 a month. And you're like, okay, let's see if you can do it the next month when the client renews with you. That's the big challenge, right? And that's where you really gotta get good at it. 2 mistakes I made. 1, getting way too many clients. I just got way too many and I got overwhelmed and I couldn't fulfill the service at the quality that I wanted it to. And number 2 is trying to scale into an agency where I could have been a freelancer and still would have made more money. Because once you're just a freelancer, there's kind of that stigma to it. Or you're just a freelancer, you're not an agency owner. So I was like, wow, yeah, I gotta look for agencies, right? I gotta look for someone to hire. But in reality, I didn't need 4 people in my operation. I could have just got 2 people and just ran with it and just be freelancers. You don't need the status. You don't need to be an agency to make good money. Now, this is gonna help you get to a certain baseline. You're gonna get to 5K a month. You're gonna get to 10K a month. And the thing is, it's gonna make you very happy. It's really gonna make you happy because you're gonna go from 0 to a place where you can start not looking at the prices in restaurants, where your family can ask you for money and instead of asking, how much is it? And yeah, I'll send it, you do it the opposite way. Yeah, I'll send it, how much is it, right? You're gonna get to that point where you're really happy and you really like it. But then you're gonna feel bored and you're gonna not feel as fulfilled. That comes when you're like at a certain level when your needs are taken care of. Because realistically, if you're just first starting out, blowing more than 5K or 10K a month, that's hard. And like just spending that money, like what are you gonna spend unless you're like splurging like openly? You're not gonna use it for that much. And then you're gonna be like, you know what? Maybe I can go into other ventures. But the difference is you're now rich, you now have money, and you have the detachment that allows you to make better decisions. So here's my saying, get rich first, figure it out second. So go out there and learn a skill, get a client, and fucking sign someone and fulfill the service. All right, that's it. Thank you for everyone. I love you. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.